It's finally here, Space Hulk from Full Control. What we have here is an interpretation of the classic Games Workshop tabletop game. It features definitely 3D graphics as you can see here, and a lot that will be familiar to the board game fans as well. So let's take a look and see how it plays out. Several modes of play. The basic one is campaign, where you're playing as the Space Marines against the Gene Stealers. Each mission has a narrative as well as a map to kind of show you what's going on in it. As you head into the level, you will deploy your troops as you see fit, generally in a narrow corridor. And as with the board game, the positioning and the tightness of the map is really what's going to affect your success and whether you leave one of your soldiers to die, which is very interesting. I was not familiar with the board game, but I can definitely see the feeling here. It's hard to capture the full rules here, but basically each soldier has a number of points they can use to take different actions during a turn. There's also a shared pool of additional points that they can use to make additional actions. There's different kind of soldiers with different types of weapons. This one you see here is the flamethrower, which allows him to attack multiple enemies as well as block off certain locations, really controlling the flow of enemies, which is really important to this game, as you're going to need to make sure that you can eliminate all the proper enemies before things get out of hand. Each mission has certain objectives you're trying to accomplish and certain failure conditions. And it's definitely a single-player affair where the Gene Stealers kind of make choices based on where you move and just trying to eliminate you as quickly as possible. The original game featured asynchronous gameplay where one player would play the Space Marines, another would play the Gene Stealers. That actually is available. It's called the Hotseat mode, and follows a lot of the rules of the original board game. So as you can see here, the Gene Stealer player is allowed to place certain blips, which will eventually become his troops, but are unseen to the other player as to what their actual value is. While I've not played the classic board game, I thought this mode was definitely a nice nod to fans of the original. The game does feature online play as well, and you can also customize things like the way your banner appears, as we can see here, and as you play through the game you'll unlock different options here. If you're a fan of Space Hulk, there definitely is a lengthy campaign to play through, but luckily for you, I think there's additional campaigns available immediately. Now, people may say this is a cash grab. I don't think that at all. I really think there's just a lot of content that can be available to players, and this is a great way to give you additional content quickly if you're interested in playing more. After GDC and playing this game on the PC, I'm excited to finally see it on iOS. From my brief experience with it, I feel that this is actually the best way to play the game. A tablet experience really seems like what this game was built for. While there are a few minor complaints about some controls aren't exactly clear, facing is a little tricky to get a hold of, as well as sometimes buttons can be a little hard to hit, I do think that I've been able to enjoy the game a lot more in a tablet environment. I have to say that I really enjoy Space Hulk. I think it's very fun, and I think really captures the board game. Though I have never played it, I have played the card game based on the board game and other sorts of things, and I think it definitely catches that sort of you only have one shot or one hit to take and really make it count sort of mentality. I just need to point out that the game does feel a lot like a board game. While it does have 3D graphics, they look quite good. In terms of the controls and the way the game plays, if you're looking for a very dynamic turn-based strategy game, really XCOM has kind of defined that genre, this definitely feels like the original turn-based strategy game, just with the added benefit of additional graphics and just additional atmosphere that really add to the entire package. So, Space Hulk is not going to redefine the turn-based strategy genre on iPad. What it does do really well is capture the 40K universe, its darkness. It captures the classic board game and really presents it in a generally easy to play and very portable fashion. Space Hulk is in many ways a cult classic board game, and this iOS version gives players that may not have a chance or access to that cult classic the opportunity to play this classic game in a very portable and even more atmospheric fashion. The app design of Space Hulk could use some polish, but what it lacks in polish, I think it makes up for in terms of atmosphere. And capturing a classic game. I highly recommend it.
You are failed.